So I just want to start real quick with a brief background, the way kind of I see you. So hearing your story, you have a stock background, a tech background, a real estate background as an agent. And it's cool to me to see how you kind of brought that all together and formed eXp Realty as it is today. So if you could just touch briefly on your experience as an agent, like what was your sales volume? And let's just start there.
Yeah, so I started as an agent in 2002. I actually got in kind of in an indirect way. I actually was running a lot of websites. One of them was a local community portal, and actually sold an ad to a local realtor that decided that I was going to get my real estate license. And so I actually joined his team in 2002, and from April 29th to the end of the year, that year I sold $7.3 million worth of residential, actually 17 properties. Next year I sold $7.3 million worth of residential real estate. So my first full year back in 2003. And then 2004, actually, we had a 2-year deal, and I was looking at leveraging some of the internet lead gen stuff that I've been doing and building a team. So we parted ways in 2004 and started a team. And by my fourth full year in the business, 2006, we actually did 60 million in production. We were top 50 nationally with actually KW at the time.
Okay, awesome. So massive success as a real estate agent before developing this model eXp Realty as we know it today. So why did you decide to start eXp Realty? Was there a need that you saw, or what was your thought process back then?
Yeah, so there was a couple things. One, 2007, I went independent and actually ran a team-based brokerage for. And 2007 was a great year. We did about 73 million in production as a team-based brokerage. 2008, we were on track to do about 100 million. We actually, at that point, we were in 3, getting ready to open up our fourth office. So Bellingham, Washington, Seattle, Phoenix, and we're just in the process of opening up Portland, Oregon. And then the market turned in 2008. And so we quickly closed down 3 of the offices, had either the agents go affiliate with a different firm, or in Washington State, we just had a skeleton crew up in Bellingham. And I'd also come from a technology background and sort of recognized that high-speed internet was now pretty ubiquitous. We had 3G on our phones, we had cable internet, so the need to actually go to the office to actually access data, upload photos, do all that stuff really was no longer a necessity. In fact, it was a little bit more of a hindrance as an agent to actually have to always go back to the office to do your work. And so when in 2009, given that we really operated from late 2008 into 2009, we said, how do we build a real estate brokerage that's not dependent on bricks and mortar? Because at the time, the housing market, well, in technical terms, sucked. And we didn't know when the market was going to really get better. And so we said, given where we're at, why don't we really focus on that? And then the other piece is, if we're going to go that direction, then what would an agent fundamentally need to be willing to leave his or her physical office to actually come to a virtual company? And so we looked at, we could be the lowest cost real estate brokerage on the planet, but then there wouldn't be enough money to actually pay for leadership and management. So we started to really just kind of look at all the things that I would have wanted to have as a real estate professional, having been at Prudential, I'd been at Keller Williams, I'd run my own brokerage, and I said, what would it have taken for me to want to build my business for life? And we just started to add those ingredients into the mix. And I've always referred to myself as a focus group of one, meaning that I really look at what is it that I would have wanted. And given the backdrop of, over 1 million realtors, I figured that, I'm probably not that unique. So let's build it. Maybe we'll get 20, 30,000 agents eventually, doing that. And that was back in 2009. We just didn't realize it was going to happen this fast.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a great way to look at it. Myself as an agent, what would I like to see in a company? And you definitely hit the nail on the head. So the cloud-based part of it, obviously, it's been a massive success. Do you think that we could have had the growth that we've had over the last 10 years had you started with a bricks and mortar?
No, I mean, the reality is that bricks and mortar cost money.
Yeah.
And if you think about what the franchise system, the reason why franchises exist is because the broker owner or the original broker owner didn't have enough money to expand to other locations. And so they needed other people to put money up to actually put that bricks and mortar in place. With technology, you don't need that additional bricks and mortar. Now, if agents and brokers who qualify to have their own office want to have their own office, they can certainly do that in the eXp model. We have a number of people that do that. But as an infrastructure, it's no longer required to transact business, to record information, to have all the various parts of the business really take place on the cloud, even if you go to a physical office.
Yeah, I find that true for myself too. When I came over, I kept my own office because I had a real estate team of 5 agents. We were selling around 90 houses a year, and it was my choice to invest back into my own office as opposed to this giant office with this huge lease. I mean, the helium tank alone at my office was $500 a month.
Okay.
So the expenses just get a little crazy sometimes in these bricks and mortar offices. So I was really excited about that opportunity. And do you see the bricks and mortar, say, we all know that recession's, going to come at some point again.
Right.
The market's been great for a long time now. Do you feel that because we're cloud-based, that we're poised to really take even more market share when that market starts to dip?
Yeah, well, I think the reality is that we're starting to see some markets slow down, and we've even seen in eXp a number of small boutique brokerages, some of them larger brokerages, actually making the conversion. And I think it's because they're looking at if the market slows down, how am I going to pay my leases? How am I going to pay my staff? How am I going to provide the amenities that the agents have learned to expect and still make a profit? And so there's a timing element. Leases typically run 3 to 5 years on buildings. So as a broker owner, I think we're starting to see some of the folks actually start to make the leap. Go, do I want to lose money in a recession? Because every broker owner that has physical bricks and mortar will lose money in a recession. Or do I want to start to actually convert what I've been doing into a model like eXp that will be fundamentally profitable because we don't have that significant fixed expense.
Yeah, okay, great. So we talked about the aspect of being cloud-based. Let's talk a little bit about our revenue share model, because when I was looking at eXp, what got me most excited was definitely the revenue share opportunity and the stock opportunity, because I believe as a real estate agent, you should really be able to earn multiple streams of income outside of just selling houses. So that was super attractive to me. Why did you see at the time that it was so important for eXp to have a revenue sharing model?
Well, there was a number of reasons. One, I really liked the concept of the profit share model back at KW, and I built a pretty good sized organization over the course of the 3 years that I was there. But what didn't work was that the offices that a lot of the agents that I had weren't at profitable offices, and so the profit share didn't actually turn into something significant. And so I literally told the team, I said, if we ever build a company, we're going to do a revenue share model, not a profit share model, because I actually believe that a good management team will figure out how to, generally speaking, at least break even, if not make money. And so we just said, hey, let's make this just a general standard monthly expense item, just like anything else that would take place in an office. But let's take it off the top and let's do that. And thought that would produce better results. And I also looked at my organization, whether it be my team, the brokers that I had built at that point, what would my organization look like in a revenue share model, and how would that sort of trickle in? By the way, inside of eXp, I think my actual salary at eXp is like under 60,000. It's 50,000 something, and I'm actually paid through the revenue share model. So that I've actually built in my raises as a CEO founder through the revenue share model.
That's awesome. I love that. It shows how much so that you're tied to the success of our revenue share model, because one of the things that I get as talking to agents at different brokerages is, what's the sustainability of the company and all that, and that just proves to all of us how invested you are as well as the founder of the company to maintain the longevity of a strong, sustainable revenue share model.
Yep.
And I'm very excited about that. Then, in 2014, you decided to add this stock piece, which we're now publicly traded on the Nasdaq. So extremely exciting. Talk about that a little bit. What was that thought process like?
Yeah, so actually in 2008, 2009, I always wanted to have agents be shareholders because I've always recognized the value of equity in a growing business. I was a stockbroker. I've been just an individual investor, small scale, nothing significant. But I've always believed in that equity is actually more valuable than cash. And so I've always sort of operated from that premise, and I believe that the agents that get eXp would also value that as well. Mm-hmm. And so, and back when we started, we couldn't do the equity component because we were too small. 2012, 2013, we were still fairly small. We were 300 agents or so. And but we said, how can we sort of accelerate the growth of the company? We're growing 50% year over year, which is not bad. That's good growth. But we're saying, how can we accelerate? And then we said, why don't we figure out how to become a public company and start to distribute equity? And so we introduced the agent ownership initiatives in late 2014. And that was the game changer. That's when, that's what got Gene excited about the company. It got a number of people excited about the company because now we had an item of value that is different than the other items of value, and it's just sort of becomes the icing on the cake. But for a lot of agents, it's actually the reason why they're here.
Yep, and I love it, and it's just so neat as an agent perspective. When you sell houses, just like you always would as an agent, you earn stock.
Right.
I've only been with the company now just under 3 years, and as an agent, I've been awarded over 8,000 shares of stock. And at today's value, around $9 a share, that's exciting.
Yep.
When you cap, and we have an extremely low cap, when you cap, you get stock in the company. Whereas before, when I capped, I got a certificate that would go on my wall, and it didn't even have a frame. It was really just a piece of paper that had a cap on it, like a ball cap that said capper, and here I actually get stock. So it's just so cool to have ways to earn extra income just by selling houses like you always would as an agent. So that's been really exciting for the entire real estate industry, and that's a big reason why we're over 24,000 agents now.
24,000 plus, yeah.
That's so cool.
And of course, we had the big announcement yesterday.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So we just introduced the agent healthcare initiative and partnered with a company called Clearwater Benefits, and we're able now to offer healthcare benefits to agents, and in some cases at significantly reduced costs. I think one example was the yearly cost comparable could be $10,000 a year just on premiums. And with out-of-pocket, depending on the type of situation, you could be looking at a reduction of $20,000 to $30,000 versus what the sort of is available on the marketplace.
Wow!
So there's some really great benefits there. Not everybody's because it's based on your health level and some other factors. But it's if you're healthy, you are you've got some different factors. It can be an incredibly cost-effective way to get health coverage.
And I think that's yet another game-changing benefit to eXp, because I talk to so many agents that are maybe still just part-time in real estate. They'd love to go full-time, but they have to only be part-time because they have a corporate job that's paying their health insurance, or they have a significant other who'd like to go full-time in real estate with them, but they're keeping that person. Like my wife, she was a nurse, and she stayed at the hospital working because that's where our health insurance was through, and she delayed her transition into real estate with me because of that, partly. So I just think we're going to see so many agents that are with eXp now that are part-time, they're going to go full-time, and of course, agents who are at a different company that doesn't have health care, we're just going to see a lot of another growth spurt because of that.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be huge, and that's the thing we continually do, and I say we, I had the opportunity to fire myself about 2 weeks ago, but Jason Gessing's now the CEO of eXp Realty. We've got Dave Kennord, president of growth, Stacy Annan, president of operations. We've got Deborah Stevens in charge of Canada, Adam Day in the UK, Stephen Lee in Australia. We've got John Tobeson, Jeff Whiteside, Kimberly Ryan. We've got all this great, amazing team, and we literally iterate every day around how can we make this better for the agent at eXp. So it's not, we have a small number of people but their mandate is to literally build the most agent success obsessed organization on the planet.
Yeah, I love that, and it's not just something that Glenn's saying; it's the truth, and that from the leadership team pours down into the agents at our company. Some of the top agent attractors and all the agents, they're thinking from how can we make this the best company for everybody. It's not, I never see anyone thinking, how can I make it better for me? It's how can we make it better for everybody? And I've felt that, and I've seen it firsthand as an agent, and the healthcare is just one more thing that proves why that's true. Give back revenue share to agents, give stock to agents, give healthcare to agents. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So thank you for that. And then, so let's just vision out 5 years. Where do you see eXp in 5 years? As much as you can talk about that.
Well, 5 years. We've mentioned a few times that we'll definitely be over 100,000 agents in 5 years. I mean, we pretty much can trip our way to 100,000 agents based on sort of our growth trajectory and where we're going. So, when we start to add in multiple countries, we've got kind of a generalized mandate to open up another 2 to 3 countries per year. So, you take out 5 years, we could be in 15, 20 countries. We've got other services obviously coming down the pipe. We've got the mortgage with Intraland, the title, escrow, Silverline. But I think you're going to see some other lines of business start to kick in that will cross-pollinate real estate. So think about maybe another group of professionals in another vertical that can basically cross-pollinate leads back and forth. And so there's just a lot of really cool things we're thinking about and brainstorming, throwing up against the wall, testing out, and some of them are going to stick, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see.
That's awesome. So with that, let's imagine, last question, you were stuck in an elevator with a real estate agent at a different company, and you only had a minute with them. What would you say to them of why they should join eXp?
I think the thing that I would say is I would first ask, how long have you been doing real estate? How's it going for you? Do you still enjoy it? And then have you figured out a way to create enough leverage so that you can back away from day-to-day selling eventually? And if you don't, you should take a look at eXp Realty, because we've really built the first real estate brokerage that has enough in it that you can get off the hamster wheel of listing and selling properties if you choose to. And a lot of agents want to just keep on selling, but you can also do both.
Yep, exactly. I love that, and I think that's great advice to any agent. So thank you, Glenn. I appreciate your time for the interview today. And if there's anything I can ever do to help the company, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks. AJ.